Today, we're going to be talking about color contrast. Color contrast plays a really important role in accessibility. It alone can determine whether or not a text or an image can be accessible. There are plenty of valuable resources online to help visualize this necessary tool. For example, in this chart, we can see how different colored text interacts with different colored backgrounds. We are shooting for our text to always fall in the good contrast boxes, though this chart isn't 100% accurate, and using your discretion is always the safest bet. For instance, even though this chart says otherwise, I would highly advise against yellow text on an orange background or green text on a blue background. This is because these are what's known as vibrating colors. Vibrating colors are a set of bright, saturated colors next to each other that create an irritating visual. These colors in combination could be nearly impossible to read by someone with visual impairments. So, unless it's for a psychedelic art installation, I would avoid those color combinations. Vibrating colors are just one example of why color contrast is so important when building our sites. Always keep in mind that the minimum ratio of color contrast is 4.5 to 1. To visualize these numbers to those of you unfamiliar with that ratio, take a look at this chart. The lighter the backgrounds get and the smaller the contrast ratio gets further down, the harder the text is to read. We want our text to be completely legible to all users, between these upper two boxes within the ratios of 4.5 to 1 and 7 to 1. The bigger ratio is always better. Let's see this ratio in practice. In a new site, I'm going to create a block containing text. This text provides vital information to our user, but today I'm feeling creative. I make my background gray and my text white. Notice how when I save this, it's practically illegible. This is when our ratios are most important. Instead, I might opt for a completely black or much darker background so that my light text is still visible and abiding by a 4.5 to 1 contrast ratio. This also applies to images. Drupal has a really convenient fix for this. If I want to put white text over an image header, depending on that image, that text might fade into the background and become illegible, as seen here. But by editing that block, I can click this button and, upon refreshing, the background will darken itself to accommodate my light text. Now that you can identify them, always be checking for and fixing any color contrast ratio issues. Good job!